So the iPhone 11 release is like barreling towards us, as is probably some credit card debt dating back to the iPhone 5. We've pretty much known what every iteration of iPhone is going to have because it leaks out. Love it or hate it, it is what it is. And we have a pretty good sense what the iPhone 11 is going to be. So I got thinking, what are the best technologies available right now at the end of 2019? If Apple would put everything that's awesome from the world of tech into a phone, what would this mythical, never going to happen iPhone 11 have in it? So here is what your iPhone 11 won't be. USB Type-C Lightning, you served a purpose. You're better than 30-pin. Time for you to kick rocks. I love USB Type-C on my iPad Pro. It opens up a world of third-party options, lower cost options, easier for flash storage, easier for a lot of other things, and I would love to have that built in. It would add functionality to my phone. I wouldn't have to buy new Lightning-only things. I could use USB Type-C type headphones I have laying around. It would just be awesome to have. I think we're gonna get it for the 2020 phone. But if I'm making my dream phone, I'm starting with USB Type-C. The screens are obviously important, and I think Apple does a really nice job with their Retina displays. And maybe a dirty secret is that those displays are made by Samsung. And Apple dictates what the color gamut's gonna be and how it displays color, but I would love for that screen to be pulled from the Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, and the Note 10 Plus supply chain. I love Samsung screens. I like to see those in all of their high contrast glory on an iPhone. And speaking of screens, I want some pro motion action. I'm not even asking for the 120 hertz that you've got in the iPad Pro. I know theoretically it's not possible with OLED technology, but give me 90. I love the way it looks on the OnePlus 7 Pro. It looks really amazing and makes using another screen just look straight up janky. So pro motion, it's got a soft spot in my heart, and I want to have it on my iPhone. I would obviously like to shrink the notch, but another option, maybe give a little bezel on the top and have no notch altogether. I know it's probably gonna split it. If I had to pick one, I'd probably rather have the extra pixels and have the notch there. Make it smaller. I know it's not possible quite yet to get rid of it, to hide it behind the camera. Essentially like a Microsoft Kinect shrunk down, so I am in awe of the tech that went into making that happen, but still, smaller notch, happier John. And of course, that notch is used for Face ID. I like Face ID, it's my preferred method for unlocking a phone, but it can sometimes be a little bit slow. So I like it to be faster, and I also like it to work in landscape. Next, maybe a little controversial. Apple's known for taking things away from iPhones and them never coming back. But what if Touch ID came back on the iPhone 11, and it wasn't the home button like before, it wasn't on the back, we've got an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor built into the screen. Now, ultrasonics can be finicky, they don't work as well as physical options, but it's redundancy. I would like having the option. Maybe Face ID is not working for me because, I don't know, maybe I grew a beard or it's too dark or lighting's not right. I still don't have to input a password, I can still use my finger. I like the options. I like being able to pick how I want to unlock my phones. I would love for Touch ID to come back. And speaking of things I want to come back, this is for some of the audiophiles out there. How about a headphone jack? I mean, that would shock the market if Apple put a headphone jack in there. And obviously they could do it. There are plenty of phones that have headphone jacks that still maintain, their IP68 ranking. I love to have a headphone jack. I have headphones with wires and regular 3.5mm ports. I'd kind of like to dust them off again. And also in that notch is a front-facing camera, and it's fine. But if you compare that front-facing camera to other flagship front-facing cameras, it's kind of a potato camera. So just a better front-facing camera would be nice, and maybe even some different lens options like you're gonna have in the back. So this next one is probably one of the most annoying things about the iPhone. If you're gonna use Lightning, make it USB Type-C to Lightning. Ideally, on my dream phone, we got C to C, but at least make it a 30-watt charger. It's a nice compromise, it's realistic, they've got the tech, they include it in the box. Let me charge my phone a little bit faster than the horrible 5 watts that we get right now. This next one I think is something we're actually going to get, but bilateral wireless charging. Charge something else with your phone. It's nice to have. Hopefully it's faster than 5 watts, but drop down your AirPods on the back of your phone to juice it up if we're heading off to the gym. It'd be nice and convenient to have. So I get that Apple's all about storing stuff in the cloud. iCloud storage, super important. But it is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, it's ridiculous that Apple still sells a 64 gigabyte phone in 2019 that's gonna go into 2020. So give me a 128 gigabyte option starting, and I will be a happy man. Get rid of that 64. And speaking of storage, how about a 1 terabyte max storage? So you don't have to worry so much about iCloud stuff. You keep whatever you want on your phone. If you have a USB-C port, maybe you're having a lot of footage on there, you want to store a lot of files, you've got the options now. 128 to 1 terabyte. Happy John. So again, coming to a new phone that's not an S. This might sound shallow, but I'm wagering I'm not alone. I want the phone to look different. I want it to not look like the last gen phone, so I feel slightly less silly, probably dropping a G on a new phone. I really like the iPad Pro design language. Give me a flat design for a phone, I think that would look pretty sweet. I really tried to keep the list free from software stuff, because iOS and software can change all the time. But one little software tweak that I want to come back and that annoys me to no end with iOS, I loved having my battery percentage always in the upper right-hand corner. I like knowing exactly where my battery was at. Now I gotta swipe down to see it. It's annoying. It's one more swipe than I wanna do. Bring back my default battery percentage. I don't need to see I'm connected to a ridiculous 5G network. I just wanna see what percentage my battery's at so I can plan the rest of my day. If you believe the rumor trains, Apple's taking more stuff away with the iPhone 11. 3D Touch will be going away, so you can pour one out for hard pressing on stuff, being replaced what we see in the iPhone XR haptic touch. Keep 3D Touch. If I'm making my dream spec list for the iPhone 11, I like 3D Touch. I actually use it more than I thought I did, and if you've got a phone with it, I imagine you probably use it more than you think you do also, and when it's gone, you're gonna miss it. And I think the iPhone has always had good cameras, and it's always had good photo processing. But kind of starting with the Pixel 2, which I think was like peak smartphone cameras, you could see what a phone could do with machine learning. So both in the cloud and on device. So I would really like to see better processing of the pictures. Give me more options. I like to sort of have that pixel level processing, that Huawei level processing, whatever manufacturer you like that has better processing than the iPhone, that's what I wanna see. And speaking of cameras, I like more lens options. So supposedly we're gonna get 3 on the back, a normal, a wide, and a telephoto. I'd like more. Maybe an ultra wide, maybe 2 telephoto options. Give me more options. If you're gonna put like a big old Apple Watch looking rectangle on the back of that phone, I want as many camera options as I can. And speaking of camera options, one thing that LG does that I love on their current flock of flagships is those cameras sit flush on the back. There's no hump. I don't have to worry about a little wibble wobble when I put it on the table. I would like that camera sensor to be completely flush on the back. That probably fatten it up a little bit, put a bigger battery in there. I don't mind a fatter phone if I can get more milliamperage out of it. Data connectivity, obviously a big one. I like Wi-Fi 6 to be in the next iPhone, and you'll probably notice some omissions. I went through this realistic dream iPhone 11. So I didn't make it foldable because I don't think Apple is going to do that. I don't think that technology is ready. I also don't think 5G is really ready for national consumption or a global rollout because these phones go all over the world. I'd rather wait until 5G is sort of more advanced, there's more band support, new technologies are out, so I don't lose my 5G when somebody walks in front. I don't always have to have line of sight if it rains. Right now you're sort of losing it. I'm okay waiting a few years for 5G, assuming I've got really solid gigabit LTE. So that's my list. That's my dream phone for the iPhone 11 based on tech that exists today that you see in different phones. I sort of made a Franken iPhone based on things that I liked from other devices. What I miss. So what do you want? Is it front-facing speakers are so important to you? Let me know. Like, what 1 or 2 features do you think the iPhone 11 has to have? Or if Tim Cook came to you and was like, listen, dude or dudette who's watching this video with their head leaning on their left hand, what do you want in the next iPhone? Because I will make it happen because you, sir, madam, are awesome. Let us know in the comments down below.